On to number 1. This is the fun stuff. This is where it gets juicy and fun. Can't you feel it? Do you feel it? Do you see what we're doing here? We're solving for 3m. So we're solving for m. So we want to get over here by itself. So the first thing we're going to do is do the opposite of this -5. We want to move the -5 over there. To do that, we're going to then do the opposite. +5. 5. This goes away. 24. 3m equals 24. Divide by 3. M equals 8. You don't believe me? Nah, I don't know why you won't believe me. But let's put the 8 back in the equation. Now we use purple. Back in the equation. Okay. So, there we go. Go that way. All right. So, 3 times 8 equals 24. Take away 5 equals 19. Looks correct to me. Okay. Change. All right, make sure our pens are right. They're a little thick. All right, on to the next. So, 45 equals z plus 23. Again, you want the z by itself. This is a simpler one. All I do is move this over there. Boom, bang them. Do that, we're going to do the opposite. Cross it out. -23. 45, take away 23 is 22 equals z. Okay, so z equals 22. Okay, first two, easy, fun, right? Yeah, I agree. All right, so now, we get to have some fun ones. Now this one's gonna be a little trickier. Not really. So we want to get the x by itself. All right, x is attached to a 4. Also, we got a 7. When I say get it by itself, we want to get it by itself on this side of the equation. So we can do the opposite over here. So opposite of 7 is +7. Opposite of -7, +7. They cancel out. We 4x. Opposite on one side, you got the other side. +7 equals 36. But don't forget your sign. Negative. So we're going to say 4x equals -36. Divide both sides by 4. X equals -9. So but -9 is the equation. This will be -36 because -9 times 4 is -36. -7 plus -36 equals -43. All right, you're getting it, right? It's fun. All right. This equation is tricky. Why is it tricky? Because you're solving for x. We're not solving for -x, but we're solving for x. Okay, you got that? We're not solving for -x. We're solving for x. So, how do I get rid of the negative sign? Anytime you want to get rid of the negative sign, you multiply the whole equation by -1. All you're doing is changing the signs. The equation still remains the same. Again, to get rid of the negative sign, you multiply the whole equation by -1. -1 times 17, -17. -1 times 11, -11. -1 times -1x, what that is, +x. Okay? Now you solve the equation. We have to get the x by itself. So we're going to take this and bring it over here. To do that, we do the opposite. So it's going to be plus 11. Plus 11 goes away. This is going to be 17 combined with plus 11 is going to be, negative 17 plus 11 is going to be negative 8 equals x. Voila. Of course, it'd be great if I could add, which I can't today. Negative 6. Okay? To check the equation, I put it back in because I had a brain fart, but we shall see. 17 equals 11 times, 11 so when I put this equation back in there, 17 equals 11 minus 1x. X is 6, so minus times a minus equals a positive. So it's going to become 6. So 17 equals 11 plus 6. On the 5, this one is a straightforward one. Okay, you want to get the r by itself. So this is going to go over here. To do that, we're going to do plus 14 plus 14. Make sure you keep equal signs so you don't go away. R equals 39. Put it back in the equation to check it. Negative 39. Ah, see, I lost a sign. Almost lost a sign. Negative 53. We add plus 14 equals negative 39. Put it back in the equation. Negative 39 combined with negative 14 equals negative 53. Always put your number back in the equation to check it. All right, number 6 is the fun one. It's a unique one. Now, I don't like dealing with negative signs. I don't like dealing with fractions. So how do we get rid of fractions? We'll multiply this whole thing by the denominator, which is 7. When you multiply this by 7, we cross multiply 7, and this 7 cancel out, and we have x equals 7 times negative 4 is negative 28. So the answer is x equals negative 28. Don't believe me? You know what? I don't believe myself either because I had a brain fart on number 5. So let's put the answer back in the equation. Okay? So we have x. We're going to rewrite it. X over 7 equals negative 4. Remember, I do got a negative sign there. Negative 28 divided by 7. 7 goes to negative 28. Negative 4. Voila. Got 2 right. Proud of myself today. All right. Same thing over here. We're going to multiply this whole equation by 2. Okay, 2 times 9, 18. This cancels out with that. plus x equals 46. Now we solve for it. X by itself, negative 18, negative 18. They cross out. X equals, don't get your equal sign. 46 take away 18 is going to be 28. All right, you know what? I've been having a brain fart all day. Let's put 28 back in the equation. Okay. So we got 9 plus what is 28 divided by 2. 14. 9 plus 14 equals 23. Oh, want to roll today. All right, do the same thing over here. We want to get rid of the denominator. We want to get rid of that division sign. So we're going to multiply the whole thing by 8. So it's going to be x take away 7 equals 6. Ooh, made a mistake. Boom. Caught myself. That's why you always go through all of the steps. So 8 times 6, forgot that, 48. I did the 8 with the numerator and denominator, but I didn't do the 8 with integers, 8 times. So x take away 7 equals 48. X equals 55. You know what? Had a brain fart again. Let me make sure. How do I make sure? I check it. So I'm going to put the 55 into the equation. So 55 with x. 55 take away 7 is 48. Divided by 8 equals 6. I just solved the equation. All right, but x is 55. Number 1. Look at the problem. Don't forget about PEMDAS. And I see we have these terms that I like. So I add those up first. And I had the terms not like. So I combine them. 10x take away 7x is 3x equals 12. Divide both sides by 3. X equals 4. So I look at this equation for number 2. And remember, I want to get z by itself. So I'm going to add up all the z's that are on this side of the equation. The left side of the equation. 9 minus 5. So we have 4z, do not lose your sign, plus 11 equals 27. Now I want to get the z by itself. So we're going to do the opposite. I'm going to take it over there. Negative 11. Negative 11 equals 16. 4z. Divide both sides by 4. Z equals 4. Alright, you know what? I'm just so unsure today. Let me put it in just to make sure. So z, I solve for z. Z is 4. Put 4 in the equation. 36, because 9 times 4 is 36. So 36 plus 11 is 47. Take away 5z. 5z is 20 equals 27. Equation is correct. All right. So now I'm looking for the like terms that are on the left side of the equation, where the variable that like terms that I see are the integers. So let's add them up. Negative 7 combined with negative 9 gives you negative 16. Okay? So I have negative 16 plus 6n. So question, doesn't matter where it goes, as long as you keep your signs right, it doesn't. Okay? Because negative 16 plus 6n is the same as 6n minus 16. Because we're still solving for the variable. Now, equals negative 4 so this becomes positive 16 cross out plus 16 is equals to 12. So we have 6n equals 12. Divide both sides by 6. N equals 2. Put it back in the equation. So it'll be negative 7 12. So negative 7 plus 12 is 5. Take away 9, negative 4. It adds up. All right, let's go to the next one. So we have 6. Remember PEMDAS. So what we'll do first, out the parentheses. I cannot add up what's inside parentheses because they're not like terms, but I multiply. So 6 times x, 6x, 6 times 7, 42 equals 66. We're going to get this by itself. So what I'm going to do is, this means the variable, 42, negative 42, 6y equals 24, divide by 6, divide by 6. Y equals 4. Don't believe me? 6 times 4 is 24. 6 times 7 is 42. 42 plus 24 is 66. All right. On to number 5. So we have negative 3x. No, negative 3 times 4x is negative 12x. Negative 3 times 9, negative 27 equals 15. When you get the x by itself, so we're going to add 27 to both sides. It's going to give you negative 12x equals 42. This is going to be a funky number. 12 does not go in to 42 evenly, but it does go in there 3.5 times. So we negative x equals 3.5. When we get rid of the parentheses, we get rid of the negative. So we're going to multiply this whole thing by negative 1. Negative 1 times x is x. Negative 1 times 3.5, negative 3.5. Bless me. So you're like, oh, that's a nasty number. I'm going to check myself to make sure. 3.5 times 4, sign for x is going to be 14. But remember, it's negative 3.5. It's going to be negative 14. Plus 9, negative 3, 14, negative 14 plus 9 is going to be negative 5. Negative 5 times negative 3 equals 15. 15 equals 15. Okay. 5 on to 6. So look what we got to do. 5 times 1 is 5. 5 times negative 2x is negative 10x equals negative 65. Don't forget the variable. We want to get the variable by itself. So we're going to do negative 5 here, negative 5 here. That's going to give you 70. Negative 70 equals negative 10x. When you get rid of the negative sign, multiply the whole sign by negative 1. It's going to be 10x equals 70. Divide both sides by 10. X equals 7. Check myself. Put the 7 back inside. 7 goes here. 7 times 2 is going to be negative 14. 1 combined with negative 14 is negative 13. Negative 13 times 5 equals negative 65. Okay? Sorry, I said that last part backwards. Inside here is going to be negative 13. Negative 13 times 5 equals negative 65. Okay, I'm going to skip to number 10. So now I'm going to get rid of this fraction. So I'm going to multiply the whole problem by 4. 4 times 12, 48. 4 times the fraction, 4 cross out, equals 5m plus 3. We're going to get the m by itself, so we're going to do -3, -3 equals 45 equals 5m. Divide both sides by 5, m equals 9. Same thing, I want to get rid of this fraction. Multiply the whole thing by the denominator, which is 5. This fraction is going to cross out, so it's going to be 7r take away 2 equals 40. So we have -2, we do the opposite sign, plus 2 equals 42. We have 7r equals 42, do the opposite, divide both sides by 7, r equals 6. Again, we're going to get rid of the fraction, multiply the whole thing by the denominator, which is 6. 6 times this fraction is going to give you the numerator, because these are going to cancel out. It's going to be 14 take away 2y. 6 times 6 equals 36. Want to get the 2y by itself, so we're going to subtract 14 from this side, 14 from this side. Now it's going to give you a grand total of 22. 2y, I almost lost a sign. -2y equals 22. So then we're going to divide both sides by -2. So -2 goes into 2y one time. -2 goes into 22 -11 times. Y equals -11.